Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back. Today's video is one you truly don't want to miss, especially if you're over 65 and living on a fixed income, because what we're talking about today is nothing short of incredible. The IRS has quietly updated a rule that could let you keep up to $46,700 completely tax-free this year. Yes, you heard that right, tax-free. For so many seniors who have worked hard their entire lives, this is the kind of good news that can make a real difference. Now, I know how confusing taxes can feel sometimes, especially when the rules seem to change every single year. You might be wondering, is this real? How does it work? And could I actually qualify? Don't worry, my friends. You're not alone in asking those questions. In today's video, I'll walk you through exactly what this new IRS change means, why it's so important, and how you can take advantage of it. But before we dive in, let's just take a moment to think about what this means in real life. Imagine being able to keep more of your Social Security check in your pocket. Imagine not having to stress every April about how much Uncle Sam will take. For many seniors, every dollar counts. Rising prices at the grocery store, higher medical costs, and just the everyday expenses of life can take such a toll. That's why this IRS update is so significant. It's one of those rare moments when the system actually gives something back to the people who deserve it most. And here's what's even more uplifting. This isn't a loophole or a risky trick. It's a legitimate update written right into the tax rules. That means you can breathe easier knowing it's perfectly within the law. It's not about cheating the system. It's about finally understanding the system and using it to your benefit, because you've earned that right. You've contributed for decades, paid your dues, and now it's time for the system to give you a little breathing room in return. Throughout this video, we'll talk about how this rule works, who qualifies, and how you can make sure you're getting every dollar you're entitled to, whether you're living on Social Security, a pension, or part-time income. This change could help you keep more of what's already yours. And the best part? You don't need fancy software or expensive accountants to understand it. I'll explain it in simple, clear language, step by step. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and stay with me until the end, because I promise you'll walk away feeling more informed, more confident, and maybe even a little relieved. There's real hope here, friends. If you believe seniors deserve to keep more of what they've worked for, then please give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps more people just like you find this information. Now, let's dive in and see exactly how Americans 65 and older can keep up to $46,700 tax-free this year. All right, friends, let's get into it. Because I know you're wondering, how on earth is this even possible? How can someone 65 or older keep that much money tax-free without worrying about the IRS coming after them? Well, here's the good news. It all comes down to how your income is calculated and what the IRS considers taxable. Most people never realize how much flexibility there actually is once you hit retirement age. See, when you're working full-time, taxes feel pretty simple, right? You earn a paycheck, the government takes a cut, and that's that. But once you retire, everything changes. Your income isn't just one single paycheck anymore. It's a mix of Social Security, maybe a small pension, some savings, or even part-time work. The IRS treats all those income sources differently, and that's where the opportunity comes in. Now, here's what's really interesting. The IRS doesn't tax all your Social Security benefits. That's right. Not every dollar you receive from Social Security counts as taxable income. For many seniors, especially those whose total annual income falls below a certain level, those benefits can be completely tax-free. And when you combine that with the standard deduction the IRS gives you once you're over 65, the amount of money you can keep without paying a single penny in federal income tax is much higher than most people realize. Let's talk about that standard deduction for a second, because this is one of the biggest reasons this $46,700 number exists. For seniors, the standard deduction is higher than for younger taxpayers. It's the IRS's way of saying, hey, you've earned this break. In 2025, if you're single and over 65, your standard deduction is over $16,000. If you're married and both of you are over 65, it's more than $32,000. That means that the first chunk of your income, right off the top, is completely tax-free. And that's before you even count the portion of Social Security that doesn't get taxed. So let's imagine this for a moment. Say you're a single retiree who earns about $46,700 a year from a mix of Social Security and a small pension or part-time job. Depending on how your income is structured, you could pay zero in federal income tax. Zero. The key is in how that income breaks down. The IRS uses something called combined income to determine how much of your Social Security is taxable. That combined income includes your adjusted gross income, any non-taxable interest, and half of your Social Security benefits. And as long as that combined income stays under certain limits, $25,000 for singles and $32,000 for married couples, your Social Security stays tax-free. When you add your standard deduction to that, you can see how easily the total tax-free amount adds up to around $46,700 for a single person, and even more for a couple. That's what this new understanding of the IRS rule is really about, using what's already in the tax code to your advantage, so you can keep more of your hard-earned money where it belongs, in your wallet. Now, I know for some of you, taxes feel like a maze that never ends. You might be thinking, this sounds too complicated. I'll probably mess it up. But here's the thing, my friend. It's not about being an accountant or crunching numbers all day. It's about awareness. When you know what the IRS allows, you can plan your income around it. And that's powerful. Because the truth is, the tax system isn't built to explain itself to ordinary people. You almost have to dig for the benefits you've earned. And that's exactly why I make these videos, to bring this kind of information right to your screen in plain English, so you can finally use it to your advantage. And let's be honest, we all deserve a little relief. Prices have gone up for everything: food, medicine, gas, you name it. Every time you walk into a grocery store, it feels like you're spending double what you used to. So when you hear that the IRS is allowing seniors to earn nearly $47,000 without paying taxes, it's not just a technicality, it's a lifeline. That's extra money you can use for your medications, your home repairs, or even a small trip to see your grandkids. It's about freedom. And after a lifetime of working, you deserve that freedom. I've talked to so many seniors who say they feel guilty about keeping money or afraid they might be doing something wrong. Please don't feel that way. You're not breaking any rules. You're following them smarter. The government gives these deductions and exemptions for a reason: to help older Americans maintain a decent standard of living in retirement. And once you understand the system, you can finally breathe easier knowing you're doing everything right. Now, let's touch on one more thing that often surprises people. Even if you do a bit of part-time work, say you help out at a local store, or you work remotely a few hours a week, you can still qualify to keep much of that income tax-free, depending on how it interacts with your Social Security and deductions. The key is balance. You want to make sure that your total combined income doesn't push you over the threshold where your Social Security starts being taxed. A lot of folks don't realize that a few $100s too much in one category can make a big difference. So, having a basic understanding of where those limits are can help you plan better throughout the year. And hey, if you've got a spouse, this can be even more beneficial. Married couples filing jointly get an even higher deduction and a higher income threshold before their Social Security gets taxed. So, between both of you, the total amount you can earn tax-free can easily go beyond $60,000 depending on your situation. That's a huge win for retirees who might still have a small pension or investment income coming in. I want you to remember something important here. Knowledge is power. The IRS might not go out of its way to tell you about these benefits, but once you know, you can take control. Instead of feeling anxious every time you get a tax form in the mail, you'll feel confident. Instead of dreading tax season, you'll know that the system is actually working in your favor for once. And that feeling, my friend, is priceless. If this information is making things a little clearer for you, do me a small favor. Go ahead and hit that like button. It's free. It really helps the channel grow, and it makes sure more seniors like you find out about these tax breaks that can change lives. You'd be surprised how many people never hear about this because it gets buried under all the complicated IRS language. But when you click like or leave a quick comment saying, "I didn't know this," YouTube pushes this video out to more people who need it. And that's how we help each other out. I also want to encourage you to talk to someone you trust about this. Maybe a family member, maybe a financial advisor, or even a local tax volunteer program. The IRS actually funds free tax help programs for seniors, called VITA or TC, where trained volunteers will sit down and help you go through your taxes for free. You don't have to do this alone. And when you understand these rules, you can take control of your retirement income in a way that feels empowering, not overwhelming. So, as we wrap up this part of the conversation, here's the big takeaway. The $46,700 tax-free figure isn't just a headline. It's a reality that many seniors can achieve with the right income mix and a little awareness. Between your standard deduction, your non-taxable Social Security, and a careful approach to any additional earnings, you can keep more money in your pocket legally and confidently. You've worked for decades, contributed to the system, raised families, paid taxes, and kept this country running. You've earned every bit of this peace of mind. Now it's your turn to benefit from the system you helped build. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really means a lot. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you don't miss future updates that could save you money or help you navigate the changes ahead. I'm here every week breaking down the important stuff so you can stay informed, stay confident, and keep living life on your terms. All right, my friends, take a deep breath, feel proud of how far you've come, and remember, you deserve every bit of this relief. Now, let's move on and look a little deeper into how you can structure your income to make the most of these tax-free opportunities. Stay tuned, and let's keep learning together.